Hi darlings, and welcome back to my makeup garden. It's Liz. So today we're going to talk about 10 makeup trends that I think we're going to see in 2024 moving forward. And I know that's a little bit late to be doing this video, but frankly I didn't have my thoughts about it, and here we are. So I wanted to go through these because I think it's just going to be like a fun way to talk about some things that maybe we're going to see this year. Okay. And some of it we're already starting to see. So I was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and do this before too many more things come to pass. All right. So number one is, I feel like a given with the current makeup climate and everything that we're seeing going on right now. And I think the 90s brown lipstick, we all remember the shade Raisin. Okay. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that moving into 2024. Further into 2024, but I think we're going to see it in different ways. So I don't think it's just going to be the solid look that, maybe your mom or your aunt wore when, it was the 90s. This color was iconic. It was everywhere. And we're definitely going to see it more this year. Let's not pretend we won't, but I think we're going to see it applied in different ways, maybe with used in a blot lip, maybe used in I don't know, different shapes and different levels, maybe sheared out over the lip instead of being so saturated. But I do think that we're going to see a lot more of this kind of color because there are certainly themes. Okay, so there are three main themes that I think are going to happen this year, and this definitely fits in with that 90s revival. So I think we're going to see more of that, and we're already starting to do that. This is making its way already. Okay, so my next one ties in with that as well, and I think we're going to see more colorful grunge makeup. So I think we're going to see more, and Amanda from Unearthly, she touched on this a little bit in one of her lives of what her trends would be, but what she thought the trends would be. And she did mention that 90s grunge was definitely a theme moving into this year. And she mentioned cool tones with that, but I actually think it's just going to be 90 colorful grunge. So we're going to see those those washes of color and the playfulness of grunge makeup. We're going to see that, but we're going to see it with things like deep reds, burgundies. I think we're going to see it with swampy green kind of colors. I talked about this in one of my my pass or smashes, is seeing that, and in the form of eyeshadows, of course, but also in colorful mascara, and seeing those different kinds of colors, instead of just the purple and the blue and the red, seeing those, but also seeing maybe some different shades of green, maybe some grungy brown kind of colors, and just seeing that playfulness with those swampier, I keep wanting to say grungier colors, but that seems like a stupid way to describe it. But again, I think we're going to see more of that into this year. And again, in different ways, getting creative with those colors and those shapes and doing it that way. Who doesn't love a colorful smoky eye? You know what I mean? That's the vibe that I'm getting from it, with that messiness of grunge makeup. Okay. All right. So number 3, I think the world is not ready for full-on, full coverage glam yet. However, I do think we're shifting away from serum foundations and tinted moisturizers a little bit, and moving more towards medium and full cover foundations, but not in stark matte. So it's not in 2016 where it was full-on matte makeup and then it's full coverage and you're fully glammed. And I don't think we're going to see that, but what I do think we're going to see is we're going to see a higher coverage foundations with more natural and subtle radiance. So I don't want to call them luminous because it's not full on dewy finish or full on shiny face, but I think we're going to see more natural finish just with a higher coverage level. And I think we're seeing that trend already. So that Laura Mercier foundation that everyone and their uncle seems to be reviewing, that's a couple years old, has really blown up and gone viral after, Glamzilla's video that she made. But I do see that kind of makeup is going to continue with an emphasis for sure on skincare underneath, so that you get the most for your money. My foundation looks amazing today, and listen, you're gonna hate it. But that snail mucin from CosRx that like everyone and their uncle is trying to sell you on TikTok, it does a really good job. And I am wearing it under my foundation. I like putting it on in the morning, and then it kind of creates like a skin barrier, and it just kind of creates like a smoothness. I don't know, I'm feeling it, okay? I'm feeling it. But anyway, I do think we're gonna see those like natural radiant foundation finishes. Those are gonna be what's popular, I think, for this year. We're not ready for like full on full coverage, super glam like before, but I do think that we are gonna see some of that. So, okay. Number 4 plays into the overall theme of fantasy, which is another major theme that I think is going to continue into 2024. And with this is holographic highlighter. I know that sounds crazy, and I don't mean holographic as in like particle shimmers, like in a holographic eyeshadow. I mean as in this. So there's this beautiful person here. I don't know their pronouns, so I'm going to say they. But they did this amazing holographic look. They used Machina I think it's the shade Machina from the Blend Bunny Machina palette. But that type of highlighter effect, I think we're gonna see that translated a little bit into everyday. So there's like, it's been an ongoing thing for like maybe the last 4 years of this like overall vibe of like fantasy. And I do think that we're gonna see that, more of that style moving into 2024 further, just because I think we're moving into, I don't want to call it like the dystopian era of makeup, but I do feel like we're going to see more emphasis on like the machina level of fantasy and how that plays in. So yeah, I think we're going to see more of that. Okay. With the fantasy vibe in general, I do think we're going to see more ethereal eyes, and maybe not clammed up like the Half Magic, like gemstones everywhere, like the whatever that show was on HBO that I did not watch. But anyway, I do think we're going to continue to see that with all shimmer eyeshadow looks, like layered iridescence and play with color in that way. I do think we're going to continue to see that. Maybe not embellished the same way that it has been, but I definitely think we're going to still see that whole fantasy vibe like moving through. It's really fun. And I think with the bleed over from book talk into the makeup world, because that is a whole thing. And like the emphasis on all of this like filthy smut, like fantasy literature, which don't get me wrong, I am here for. I think we're going to continue to see that translate into makeup as well. I think when things get really stressful, like the world is right now, people lean into the fantasy. I'm good with it. It seems like a healthy coping mechanism to me. So I think ethereal eyes is going to continue to be a thing. Okay, so the Pantone color of the year is a peach color right there. I think it's called Peach Fuzz or Peach Fizz. And obviously, Pantone, it's so weird how Pantone has such an effect on the makeup world. I have to wonder about the inner workings of that. Like if Pantone lets major corporations know ahead of time what they're planning on choosing so that the fashion industry can have time to manufacture, so that the makeup industry can have time to manufacture. I'm very curious about when that decision is actually made, and then what kind of companies are the ones getting the heads up on it. You know what I mean? It seems like a big boys game, and I'm really curious how that works. So if you have any of that information, please comment it below, because I'm genuinely curious. Like, it definitely seems like the Millionaires Club, you know what I mean? So, but with that, of course, I think we're going to see more peach makeup shades, and we're going to see more peach lip shades. And I think that expecting them to be more like blot lips and peach colored lip stains, and moving into that, even like peach like lip glosses and lip oils, seeing those, I think we're going to see a lot of that into this year. And also in the lip and cheek tints, I hate those products, but people seem to really enjoy like having a multifaceted product that way. You guys have heard my thoughts on it before. I don't need to rehash it, but I do think we're going to see some of that. And, you know, I think we're kind of seeing that already, right? Because Huda Beauty has their peach setting powder So this last year, it was like that bubblegum pink, and then we saw pink powders come out. Here's the Huda pink powder, the cherry blossom. And I do think that we're gonna see more of that, but with peach colors. So I feel like that one's a given, no special input there. But to go along with that, I do think we're gonna see that like color trend translate a little bit differently. So I think with the overall vibe of makeup as a whole, I do think we're gonna continue to see like blush tour. Like, so instead of doing like full contour, using blush to contour a little bit. And listen, I'm aware of the difference between contour and like placement and like warm tone and cool tone and all of that. And all of that aside, a lot of like the everyday makeup people, not makeup artists, but like everyday makeup people, they don't give a shit. They're gonna do what they want with their makeup. And I think, you know, that's fun. But I think we're gonna see terracotta, like the terracotta blushes and like those deeper, not like the orange, but more like the brown oranges of the terracotta, like for lack of a better, I just want clarification there, you know? But I think we're gonna see that used a lot more as like contour this year, like as like blush tour, and using traditionally contour placements with that kind of a color to play off like the overall monochromatic moment that is like peach. I think that'll just kind of play into that a little bit. Let's see, number, I don't even know what number we're on. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I just lumped those two kind of back to back. So we're gonna go with my next one, which is single eyeshadow eye looks. I think there's gonna be a reaction to the overcomplication of what like eyeshadow has become. And I think people are just gonna do a lot more. We're gonna see like a rebuttal almost, using single eyeshadows and just kind of doing a sweep of color on the lid, you know, keeping a pretty shape and blending it out. And I think we're gonna see more of that. I personally would love to do more single eyeshadow looks. I rarely do that anymore and I really enjoy it. So I think we're gonna see some more of that too. Okay, moving on to the next, I think in the exact opposite of what of what the fantasy vibe and the grunge vibe are, I think we're going to see a move towards more like graphic eyeliner looks, but I think it's going to take a different approach. Okay, so I think that we're going to start to see more bold shapes with eyeliner. So we're familiar with graphic eyeliner looks, yes, but I'm thinking more along the lines of like Mondrian. Now here's a painting by Mondrian, okay, and like those really graphic bold colors, primary colors. I think we're going to see some graphic eyeliner looks that really play into that, and I think we're going to see larger creators doing that. I do feel like these kind of shapes have already started with like that tape trend that people are doing. I think we're just going to see those like harsher, bolder, more dramatic eyeliner shapes. I personally I'm going to try a Mondrian one, and I think it'd be really cool to do a look like that and maybe put a gloss on top of the primary colors. I know I have a whole vision for it, but anyway, I do think we're going to see some of that. Okay, and oh, I guess this is the last one. Okay, so last but not least, I do think that we're going to continue to see eyeliners, and this is, you know, a different way, but I think we're going to see more of the double eyeliners. And I'm so sorry, I don't know the name of this style. I think this kind of started in a subtle way over in the Asian market with a double liner. So you have like an eyeshadow wing, but then you have like a small double liner. And I do think that we're gonna see that be like a bigger trend. Last year and the year before, I think it was like siren eyes was like the major like trend. And I do think the double liner looks are actually gonna be what is like the popular everyday trend. I do say that being something that people really gravitate towards. It's very flattering, and it's just kind of an easy way to create more shape. So yeah, so those are my predictions for 2024 as a whole. Tell me in the comments below what you think, like what you've noticed. These are just some things that I see being, you know, a thing. Now, I could be completely wrong. This is just me, like, I don't know, maybe these are just things that I would like to see in 2024, but I would be happy to play and participate with any of these. So tell me in the comments below what you think the major trends are going to be for this year. And thank you for watching. I will catch you on the next one. And please, if you like this video, like and subscribe. And hi to everyone who's new. And yo, what's up to everyone who's been here. Okay, bye.